Threads of Resilience, Navigating Cultural and Linguistic Identities. In the tapestry of our lives, cultural and linguistic identities are woven from the threads of personal and inherited memories. These memories form the foundation upon which we construct narratives, shaping our perspectives and influencing our interactions with the world. In this reflection, I delve into the intricate relationship between memory, post-memory, and the construction of my identity. Drawing inspiration from the insights of Ahmed and Morgan, 2021, I articulate how my memories have become inscribed on my cultural and linguistic repertoire, examining the stories that define my identifications and how my linguistic resources are intertwined with my family and culture. As I journey through the chapters of my own language narrative, the concepts of plurilingualism and translanguaging emerge as guiding stars. Plurilingualism, as described by Senos and Gorder, 2011, transcends mere linguistic competence. It embodies the ability to fluidly traverse and negotiate meaning across a spectrum of languages. Similarly, translanguaging, a term coined by Garcia, 2009, illuminates the dynamic process of utilizing one's entire linguistic repertoire to communicate effectively, challenging the conventional notion of discrete language systems. Memories serve as the raw materials from which we construct our sense of self. They are not static recollections, but dynamic interpretations of past experiences. Ahmed and Amp Morgan, 2021. My earliest memories revolve around the lively conversations in my grandparents' home, where different languages intermingled in a symphony of voices. These moments were formative, imprinting on me the importance of language as a vessel for cultural expression and connection. In the embrace of my ancestral village, I rejoiced in the collective spirit of my indigenous community. We were a people deeply connected to the land, drawing sustenance from its bounty and finding solace in its rhythms. The language we spoke, Pashto or Pashto, carried with it the echoes of generations who had tread these same paths, forming the bedrock of our shared identity. With the shift to the city, my world transformed. I was thrust into a foreign environment, and the language that had once been the melody of my daily life began to fade. The dominant language of the city, Urdu, quickly became my linguistic anchor, while my mother tongue, Pashto or Pashto, slipped further from my grasp. It was a painful transition, one where I felt the weight of assimilation pressing down on me. I longed for the familiar rhythm of my ancestral language, but the demands of my new reality left little room for its presence. At the tender age of 9, the contours of my world shifted. The city beckoned with its skyline, a stark contrast to the rugged peaks of my youth. As I stepped into the realm of formal schooling, I felt the first tugs of change. To fit in, I began to shed the layers of my first language, making room for the dominant language of my new environment, Urdu, the national language of Pakistan. At 15, the world shifted once more. The loss of my father cast a long shadow, altering the course of my trajectory. At 18, life took another turn. With my mother and elder brother, I embarked on a new chapter in Canada. The land of opportunity, they called it. But for me, it was a land of linguistic and cultural unfamiliarity. Once again, I found myself in the face of a new language, a new identity. English, the language of my adopted home, became my bridge to this new world. It was a daunting endeavor, navigating the intricacies of a society vastly different from any I had known. Lynn's 2013 perspective on the ecology of language learning strikes a chord with my own experiences. It reinforces the notion that language acquisition is not a linear progression, but rather an intricate web of interconnected linguistic resources, echoing the principles of plurilingualism and translanguaging. In pursuit of stability, I delved into the realm of architecture, seeking to forge a path in a field that spoke to my passions. Yet, the road proved challenging, and I found myself at a crossroads. The weight of inexperience coupled with the absence of guidance in an immigrant family left me searching for a new direction. It was a time of uncertainty and soul-searching, a period that would ultimately shape my approach to teaching and learning. In the vast expanse of Saskatchewan, I found a haven for learning and growth. Here, amidst the Golden Plains, I immersed myself in the study of education. It was a transformative experience, one that introduced me to various worldviews, most notably, the indigenous way of knowing. The Plains Cree people welcomed me into their fold, sharing their wisdom, their stories, and their struggles. It was a homecoming of sorts, a rediscovery of the collective spirit that had once defined my early years. The semiotic resources at my disposal reflect the interplay between family and culture, the gestures, expressions, and linguistic nuances passed down through generations convey a legacy of shared experiences. These practices index not only the linguistic heritage of my family, but also the resilience and adaptability that characterize our collective journey. Through these encounters, a fire was kindled within me. I came to understand the injustices faced by my people, the indigenous communities that had long been marginalized. Their stories, their struggles, became my own. I knew then that I could not stand idly by. The path was clear. I had to be an advocate for social justice, a voice for the voiceless. Today, as I reflect on my journey, I am struck by the resilience woven into the fabric of my being. The languages, cultures, and experiences that shape my identity are not fragments, but rather threads that converge in a vibrant tapestry. Each memory, each transition has left its mark, contributing to the mosaic of who I am. And as I look ahead, I carry with me a commitment to be an advocate for social justice, to amplify the voices of my people, and to honor the legacy of those who came before me. This is the story of my cultural and linguistic identity, a story of strength, adaptability, and the enduring power of memory.